Welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the TMA-2 Studio Wireless, not the Plus, because the Plus is older by about 3 years. This is new. These headphones came out this year in 2025, and I actually reached out to AIAIAI to see if I could test these out, and they said yes. So here I am doing a review on these. I've actually been using them for the better part of 2 months, and also for reference, my go-to headphones are the Sennheiser HD 650s. These guys, I've actually had these for quite some time at this point. They're also open back, so different design. This is a closed back design. More on that comparison in a bit, but just want to give you a frame of reference. So yeah, these headphones are wireless. It's arguably one of the big selling features. They're also modular as well. When you get them, it is completely disassembled. So you have to pop open a bunch of bags and then assemble your headphones. And they give you all the bits and kit that you need to be either wireless or wired or via Bluetooth, which I've actually used that mode extensively as well. So as a studio production tool, I think these are pretty great, honestly. The sound is good. I wouldn't say it's excellent, but I will say it's not bad either. It's got a pretty tight focused sound field to it because it is closed back, and that's gonna be the characteristic of most closed backs, tight sound field, decent response to bass as well. It's not like super intense bass by any means, and at times it could maybe sound a bit on the muddy side, but you can adjust the EQ for that type of stuff in the app. But generally speaking, it's gonna have some decent thud to it without being overbearing. I think the mids are good personally. The highs are maybe a touch on the brittle side, just a bit, you know? And again, I'm coming from the Sennheiser HD 650s, which have a very clear open sound, very effervescent. And by no means I'm saying like bad highs. I'm just saying like the highs tend to be a bit more rigid sounding. I think you can definitely adapt your ears to the sound profile of these headphones if you want to make them your dedicated mixing headphones. For me personally, I would still use the HD 650s if I was intentionally critically mixing on headphones. In my opinion, these really excel at tracking or just beat making or, you know, creation in general, which personally I think is the target market. Because if you're in a studio of any size larger than your laptop, chances are you're gonna walk around, you're gonna stand up, you're gonna move around. I mean, guitarists, it's so nice to be able to not have the wire hanging off to the side and constantly fidgeting with it and all that. Also, my rack of gear behind me, you know, I've got a bunch of synthesizers and I like to stand up, and I also have a bunch of outboard compressors and EQs off to the side. And guess what? Being able to pop these on, just walk on over, not worry about any kind of wires getting in the way, to be able to do some tweaks to the sound. Incredible. In terms of the wireless feature and latency, is the latency good? I would say so, yes. It does come down to 9 milliseconds between these two guys right here, and that's part of this new generation, the X03 receiver, that little thing right there. They do change the codec from being, I believe, lossless to lossy. So it is a compressed format that is going between this guy and this guy right here. However, it still sounds really good, and that compressed format does make it a little bit faster than the previous generation. I believe the previous gen was like 14 or 15 milliseconds or something like that for latency. For this one, like I said, 9 milliseconds from this guy to the headphones. And it feels like it has really good range, and I also feel like it can actually go through walls as well. Because some wireless devices can be a bit finicky in that department. So it's nice to know that the signal is really strong, and maybe that's also part of the whole compressed format. It can get the job done faster and more reliably, potentially. Again, I don't have any experience on the previous gen, so I can't comment on that specifically, but from the past couple of months of usage, I have not noticed any real breakdown or problems unless I walk like 25 feet with like 3 different walls in between. And then it'll like cut out, and it won't give you any kind of like static or anything like that. It'll just sound a little robotic and then cut out, and no spike in sound or anything. So as a wireless device, I think it gets the job done really well. And again, that compressed format, it doesn't appear to have any sound quality degradation. You might pick up these, test them out, and be like, I totally hear the difference. That's why you can also plug in via wired as well if it really bugs you. So you can drive these passively, so you don't have to use the hardware driver electronics in here to get the sound. So if that is a major concern for you, if you want absolutely no latency in some instances, you can just have an 1/8 inch TRS plugged in the bottom right here. And again, it's all modular, you know? If like one of these breaks for some reason, like the strap or the cables right here, you can always replace them. Or if you'd bought the wired version and wanted to go wireless with this, you can actually do that via their modularity, which, you know, that's really cool. I will say if you're a singer, you might hear the difference. I think that's probably the one place where Any latency can be a problem for people. A really highly skilled drummer also will probably notice 9 milliseconds, just barely, you know? But when it comes to vocals and you're monitoring through the headphones, that's where you're probably gonna be like, I'm noticing just the utmost of a delay, and it could bother your singer or yourself if you're the singer. So, you know, just be aware that if you are planning on using these wireless for singing, you could notice the 9 millisecond delay right there. But again, you can go in via the wired connection and completely remove that problem altogether for those particular instances if you want to use it for vocal tracking. Because it is closed back, which means that it does have decent isolation. You will be able to control the sound leakage out of the headphones for some tracking. So yeah, in a studio setting, I think it really hits the mark well, personally. The features are super straightforward. This thing pairs right away, so all you gotta do is turn on the device. You'll see the light blink like so, and then it's waiting for this to be connected. I hold the button on the side, this turns white, and then they connect. And you're in wireless connection mode like that. You are good to go to be able to plug this in to any analog device and be able to monitor. And if you want to plug this into your laptop, you can via the USB-C and have this be treated as an audio device and have your wireless connection that way as well. So really nice flexibilities right there. Personally, I've just been using it as this connection right here, going from my audio interfaces via 1/4 inch to the wireless connection device. And yeah, that's it right there. Very convenient. I've also been using the Bluetooth as well. And if you're wondering how you get into that, you just double tap this button. By the way, this is a joystick, if you can't tell. It has joystick direction and double pressing as well. So if I just double press the joystick, this light turns blue, and now it is in Bluetooth mode, and it just connected to my phone, which is really convenient. So I can easily swap back and forth, because as a regular headset, it's actually really convenient to be able to just throw these on Bluetooth mode. You know, maybe I want to work out or walk around or something like that. Also maybe reference some other music via Spotify or Apple Music or something like that. So I can do that really easily, double tap the button, go into Bluetooth mode, and then also gives you controls as well for volume and track back and forth. And by the way, you can, I forgot to mention this, in wireless mode connected to this guy, you can control the volume via this joystick as well. So once you're done with Bluetooth mode, you just double tap, and then it goes back to the white right there, which means it is in wireless mode. Once again, that's simple. So in terms of connectivity, no issues whatsoever. It's also $300 as well, and I think that is actually a decent price, all things considered. Once you start looking at studio headphones in general, ones that are decent, you're basically gonna be at the $250 range all the way up to the $1,000 range, and above as well. Obviously you can find ones that are higher. So for these sounding decent and having really high quality wireless connectivity, I think that's a good price, personally. My Sennheisers, I believe, are like $400, $420 or something like that. New right now if you were to buy them. And again, those are better sounding, but not dramatically better sounding, and they're not wireless. And they require a decent amp to drive. Usually the higher quality the headphone, the more expensive the headphone amp that you need to get quality sound out of them. So price-wise, I actually think it's decent. I don't think they're overcharging specifically for this product. Oh, battery life also. They're claiming 20 hours on the receiver, or the transmitter, I should say. The transmitter gets 20 hours, and this, I think they're claiming somewhere around 10 hours or so. I've found that after a session, I usually just plug them in. And there is times when I turn it off, the light turns red, which means that it's getting lower. You know, it's like, hey, charge it. So I do find that I have drained these relatively quickly. Not to the point where they would get low during a session. I probably want to make sure they're plugged in every time I take them off. That being said, I do tend to work like 4 or 5 hours or so on and off. And sometimes I forget to turn them off as well. So they could be on for quite some time. So what I'm saying is battery life is definitely good, but they're not gonna be like charged once a week or something like that. Like you're definitely gonna wanna keep these charged either daily or every other day. The transmitter, on the other hand, I've let this guy not be charged for like a week pretty easily. So this thing seems to hit that 20-hour mark pretty consistently, sometimes maybe even longer. Maybe mine in particular has a slightly better battery, don't know. But I don't notice this guy going red too often. Whereas almost every day or every other day, I'll notice the light go red when I turn these off. So as long as you don't forget to charge them, they're gonna be just fine. And they'll definitely last basically a day's session, no problem. Let's talk about comfortability. So when I first got these guys, I'm gonna turn this off also. Like so. See, it says green right there, so they're charged. When I first opened up these guys and assembled them, plugged them in and all that stuff, I found these to be a bit on the stiff side. This probably took a good 2 weeks to break in to where it feels comfortable specifically, because the first 2 weeks I was like, ooh, this is compressing my head. And yes, you can adjust these like so, but even down to like right here, I was finding that just the clamp right here was compressing my head a bit much. But luckily, after 2 weeks, they do feel better. So what I'm saying is that if you get these and then after a couple days, you're like, I do not like how much pressure I'm getting on the head, give it a little bit of time. It will work itself out. It does just need to have a bit of tension or a little bit of a break-in period to make these not feel as tight. Aside from that though, this headband is comfortable. So by the way, it's like a vegan leather, a PU leather, some polyurethane, something, whatever type of leather type of thing. Feels really nice and comfy, nice and soft. I have no idea how long this is gonna last, being that it's essentially a plastic, so that could be a lifespan issue right there. But it is modular, so if one of these do start peeling, technically you could order one, assuming AIAIAI still sells these. But yeah, in terms of comfortability, once the strap has been broken in, it feels good. The cups themselves are really nice and pillowy, so it feels soft to the ears. And they do pretty much cover my ears completely when I put them on like so. It's got a good amount of isolation too. Like I have a noticeable reduction of my voice talking once I put them on. Obviously these aren't noise canceling headphones. The design to cover the ears completely is really nice for relative sound isolation, and also helps reduce noise leakage as well for sound being played in the headphones out. So yeah, comfortability I'd say is also pretty good, with the caveat of needing to break these in for probably a good 2 weeks before they felt wearable for more than like an hour. Because initially I was like, oh man. But then they broke in and I was like, they're comfortable. I've also been using these outside of studio production as well. I decided to try these out for my gaming setup. I have a pretty nice gaming setup, you know, all things considered. And I hooked these up to the audio interface for that as well. And yeah, they're nice. Very nice headset for gaming. Obviously there's no microphone with these, so you do have to have a separate microphone setup if you were to go that route. But yeah, I've basically used these for music production, general listening, and also gaming. And I like them. They've done the job really well. I actually don't plan on switching these out for anything else. I think these are going to be my main headphones for quite some time because the lack of a wire is so nice. And yes, it is 9 milliseconds of delay, but for me, I'm not singing, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. And even if it was, again, I could just plug it in via wired, and it should get rid of the delay completely. Oh, I do want to reiterate, it is super confusing that the new one is TMA-2 Studio Wireless, and the old one is TMA-2 Studio Wireless Plus. I don't know, like what? That's just confusing. Just call it 2, call it something else, Ultra, Premium, Pro, whatever. Calling it wireless without the plus and making that the new one is extremely confusing. People are gonna be unfamiliar with these headphones. Jump into like, you know, Sweetwater or something and be like, oh, well, the plus must be better, right? And then they're gonna choose the plus. The regular Studio Wireless is better. Unless of course you want the lossless wireless, which maybe that's the reason. But if it is, it's confusing. Anyways, the naming scheme of the updated version is not good. But aside from that, I mean, I think these headphones are great. $300 is a fair price as well, and the wireless is good. It's got all the options to switch Bluetooth, to use it for studio production, use it wired, use it via USB-C. Like, I think these are good, solid headphones. I will have links below, and they will be affiliate links that support the channel. So if you found this useful in any way whatsoever and you want to pick up a pair of these headphones, then consider using my affiliate links. Or if you want to pick up an MPC or any studio gear for that matter, consider using my links. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time for another video. Peace.